It's so eager to rev and pull and go that you find yourself weaving in and out of traffic. I find myself being kind of a jerk behind the wheel of this one as I get stuck in traffic because I can't stand to be stuck behind anyone going too slow. It just hurts to go slow in this car. It wants to go. It's like it's pulling at the chain, just begging to let me loose, let me loose, let me go. And yes, it is absolutely fun to get to do that when the road opens up like this. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this angry little chihuahua is a 2025 Toyota GR Corolla, the smallest GR branded vehicle from Toyota, and a lot of fun. In this video, I will take you on a complete tour and even see what this thing is like 0 to 60. Before we get too far into this one, I do want to say a huge thank you to Toyota for bringing me this nearly $50,000 top spec GR Corolla Premium for a full week. Manual transmission, carbon fiber roof, LED, all the things. This really is a nice Corolla. And yes, I said nearly $50,000. It is a little disorienting to think that the smaller vehicle from Toyota, one of the best-selling vehicles in the world, has a $50,000 option. Like, that doesn't quite comprehend, but a lot of that has to do with what is underneath the hood here. We get a 1.6 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, sending power to all 4 wheels through their GR4 all-wheel drive system. This 1.6 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder makes a staggering 300 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And yes, I did mention we have a 6-speed manual in our tester, but Toyota recently introduced an automatic option for those of you that don't necessarily want to row through the gears yourself. This powertrain, well, we'll get into it in a little bit, but this whole package is way more fun than I think it has any right to be. I have really enjoyed my time with this GR Corolla. Now, given that ours is the premium spec, it differs a little bit from the lower trims and the trim we last tested here on the channel a couple years ago. We get this power bulge hood with functional heat extractors right up here on the top. One really telltale way to see visually that yes, we've got the top trim here, nearly $50,000. This one's stickers just over $48,000. But we get all LED lights, and then the GR specific front grille and bumper that lets in a lot of air to cool the intercoolers and the engine. Because believe it or not, this is in fact a race car. The GR Cup Series does employ GR Corollas and GR86s and GR Supras. But yes, this GR Corolla is a lot of fun for a Corolla and in general. Yes, there is no mistaking the front of a GR Corolla for lesser Corollas because that engine, those intercoolers do need a lot of air to keep cool, and it gives it a very aggressive front face. I like it. Our particular tester here is painted in heavy metal gray, and it's actually hiding dirt quite well. It has been through a couple of rainstorms, and that is perhaps why colors such as this heavy metal gray are so popular. It's easy just to keep them clean or looking clean even when they are not. Coming down to wheels and tires, we get a very good combination here. We have these 15-spoke matte black wheels hiding the vented brakes back behind them, wrapped in 235/40 ZR18 Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires. If you know anything about modern tire tech, these are some excellent choices. And they are the same tires at all 4 wheels because, as I mentioned earlier, yes, the Corolla is a front drive based platform, but here in the GR Corolla, we have their GR4 all-wheel drive system that can allow you to split power 50-50 front rear, 70-30, 60-40, lots of different combinations given the particular driving situation you are in. This really is a rally car. This is what the WRX STI should have been. Toyota is out there showing Subaru exactly what they should be doing. In addition to the hood vents and all the aero work in the bumper, we do get some functional air extractors here to let air out of that high pressure system there in the wheel wells. We get a lower, wider body kit going down the side. You have that GR4 stamped just under the back door there. But otherwise, it takes the bones of a Corolla hatch and just makes it a little more aggressive. I called it the Angry Chihuahua earlier. That's actually what it looks like and what it feels like driving it. It's got a much wider stance, especially as you come around back here to the back. You can see that just how wide that rear bumper is. That rear bumper does house the tri-tipped. Yes, we have one exhaust tip for each cylinder under the hood, but a tri-tipped exhaust. And I will say, from a usability standpoint, standing at the back of the vehicle with it running, it's practically impossible not to be blasted by exhaust from that 1.6 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. You can see we get LED lights back here, something that you don't see on a lot of, I don't want to call this a budget car, but it is based on a value proposition car in the Corolla, and the fact that we get LED lights back here is a nice touch. Coming back to the back, we get our federally mandated backup camera and then a manually opening hatch. Now you would imagine, given that this is a hatchback, it's more practical and you get more space. Well, that is not exactly the case. We get a fairly tiny cargo area back here, made even smaller by the fact that we have the optional strut tower bracing back here, or the scaffolding, as I've been calling it to all my friends. That does really eliminate the fact that you can 60-40 split fold that back seat down to get more cargo space because, well, you've got scaffolding in the way. And you might notice these folding chairs we have back in the back for demonstrational purposes are sitting up quite high. Well, that is because underneath the floor here, we have a lot of foam and a surround around our battery. So this is where the battery is placed for better weight distribution, better packaging underneath the hood. And that eliminates a lot of the benefits of this being a hatchback. Add on top of that, we get this hardcover here, and you're limited vertically on just how much space you have. The last time we had one of these, we road tripped with our son, with one of his friends, just to Dallas and back, and we were crammed in the vehicle. We had luggage in between the two kids in the back seat. It was absolutely packed. Luggage space practicality isn't on the forefront of the engineers and designers' thought process here, but we do have some useful side storage down here that does go down all the way on either side of the rear hatch. We do get a couple of handholds right here, but historically I've not been able quite slam it hard enough without being super aggressive to get it to close completely. Before we climb in this one, I do want to show you the key. It is your typical Toyota key fob, though GR branded here. You can see we can deploy a physical key if we need it, a lock and unlock button along with panic. No power hatch on our model, no remote start, even though Toyota doesn't give a dedicated button for it anyway. It's not even an option with our 6-speed manual, though I can just keep that key in my pocket or wherever you keep your keys, because we have a proximity key system here, completely passive entry, so you can lock it by pressing those 3 lines right there. You unlock it by grabbing the door handle right here. When you do open the doors, you get a black with red accent interior. This is the only interior option you get on the GR Corolla. There is some very curious gloss black here on the doors. I don't love it. It's already kind of smudged because, well, that's where you're grabbing when you climb in and out. We get a little more gloss black here. You can already see there's dust and fingerprints on it there. I don't understand the infatuation with gloss black in vehicles. Let's just stop it. We do get a window lockout button here, 4 power windows, and our locks and mirror controls right there. We do get a little extra storage down below. And before we climb in completely, I did want to come in close and show you the carbon fiber roof that we get on our premium model. A lot of people have claimed in seeing it here in person that it just looks like a black roof that is dirty. I'm sure the heavy metal gray paint does not help that any. If perhaps we had the supersonic red, maybe that wouldn't be such an issue, but yes, given that the carbon fiber does kind of peek through and make it look like this gray paint, I can see where perhaps, yeah, it comes across as dirty. As we peek in at the seats, we get these GR branded competition seats. They are wrapped in synthetic leather. In this micro suede, we get some red showing through the perforations here. They are a nice, comfortable, supportive bucket seat here, but they are completely manual. Both front seats are completely manual in this $48,000 Corolla. As we slide in here, we'll go ahead and close the door. We get a fun little graphic showing you how to start the engine. It's not going to do it for me just because I'm recording. Yeah, but it will tell you to put your foot on the clutch and on the brake, and then to push the GR branded start button right here. And that allows our fully digital gauge cluster to power up, our fully digital infotainment system to power up. And then we do have a head-up display here on our Corolla. Full color head-up display, which is very nice and informative here on this model. Coming down to our screen here, we get 3 different sections that you can actually pan through and change what is displayed via these side buttons right here. And so depending on the driving situation you find yourself in, you could have one of 3 different screens, and you can change each of those panels by holding the OK button, and then you can change what is actually displayed in each one of those panels by just using this OK toggle right here. But I generally like it where I had it before. I love watching where my all-wheel drive traction is going, things such as that. Now we do have multiple different drive modes, which is selected from this switch down here. And you can see we have Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. And Sport goes into this vertical tack layout here. Kind of gives you a different layout of all the information in the center section, but still keeps those 2 side sections. You can also see it's denoted with Sport right there. You can even see when my foot is on the brake with those 2 indicators down there. Just something I think is a nice little call out. As we move down to other driving mechanisms here in this one, yes, we have a 6-speed manual, but I wanted to talk about these controls right here. So we already touched on the drive mode, select right here, traction control off. IMT is your intelligent manual transmission. It's rev matching, so you can see we get a little indicator light that comes on right there. Really like the gauge cluster pulling out from there. Like the steering wheel, you get all the necessary controls here on the 2 sides. Lots of buttons, but you can see we've got our volume and voice control here, track mode, things there, all of our ADAS right here, and then all of our buttons to control what's displayed on the screen right there. It's a little overwhelming at first, but you slide into it very easily. More GR branding here on the steering wheel. They really are proud of the Gazoo Racing brand that they have built. Moving over to the center stack, I don't believe the last GR Corolla we had the updated infotainment system in it. So this is running Toyota's newest infotainment system. They have previewed the next generation of their infotainment in the upcoming RAV4. But here, what you see is very typical of any current Toyota product. I like it. Many people have complained there's no dedicated home button on this. Toyota has clarified that, rectified that in their new system coming in the new RAV4. Dual zone climate control, which again is a nice luxury here in this compact sedan class. But again, at $48,000, you kind of expect that, even though you really aren't buying this vehicle for the luxuries. You're buying it for all the technological wizardry that is going on underneath and around you. We'll go ahead and show you that, yes, there is an automatic mode, but I don't want to blare it too much here this morning. We do have heated front seats with rockers, so wherever you had them last, they will stay. So that is a nice touch. We do have a Qi wireless charger way back here with a power button. I have not had a lot of success with it, so I've kept it off. It is a nice place to store some items, even your phone, though it doesn't do a great job of charging it. We do get a USB-C cord down here that does interface with the infotainment screen, so if you don't want to use the wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can plug in. That connection is usually more stable. All right, talking about this 6-speed manual. It is a very good 6-speed manual with a color lockout for reverse, which is over and up. When you do put it in reverse, you get your standard backup camera. No 360 cameras in this one. Again, you aren't buying this car for its technology or luxuries. You're buying it because of its driving characteristics. We get a manual handbrake right here, which is very nice, and one last drive mode that I want to show you here, so you can see normal, gravel, and push for track. This is the GR4 all-wheel drive system, and right now you can see now we are in GR4 track mode. We can go over to normal or into gravel, and I will actually put on screen what the torque split is for all of those. But I'm going to go ahead and slide that back into normal. You can do that regardless of what drive mode you're in. So you have drive modes and you have four-wheel drive modes down here. 2 cup holders, no center console. We just get this flat panel, though we do get some power for rear seat passengers. I guess we could talk about that more when we get in the back. The lack of center console has been disorienting for me every time I get in. I always want to lean on it as I adjust and get situated here in these heavily bolstered seats, and it's just not there. I don't know if that's a big problem, but just thought I'd call it out. We do have a damped but not felt lined glove box. A lot of stuff fits in there quite nicely. And then the materials in here are soft touch, injection molded, but made to invoke a real leather patch here, but it is not. Coming around to me, you saw the carbon fiber roof, so no, we do not have a sunroof in this one, but I've got plenty of headroom here. Again, manually adjusting seats, you can crank it up or down, but I'm quite comfortable here. Let's see what that does for space in the back seat. Opening the back door of the GR Corolla, you will see that the back seats are also adorned in the same materials we get up front. We get some gloss black on the doors back here, just like we do up front. We get cup holders in the doors, which is a nice touch. And then a nice bit of legroom back here for a compact sedan. I'll go ahead and slide in behind where I was sitting earlier. And yeah, I've got a fair amount of room back here. We do get map storage on the backs of both seats here. No air vents on the back of this very low, slim center console, though we do get those power ports that I showed you earlier. It is a USB-C. And yeah, no storage really of any sort back here other than the 2 map pockets on the back and the door card cup holders. We do get cup holders here in the fold down armrest. We do get a center headrest with a seat mounted seatbelt for a third passenger back here, though I will say you might want it to be a small child, because I can ride back here quite comfortably, but getting 3 across is going to be a little bit of a problem. And then the fact that we do have a drive shaft going to those rear wheels. We do have a very thick center tunnel right here, so the legroom is a bit diminished back here. So I would say a small child in a booster seat would ride back here in the center very well. You may also want to ride in the center just to have a good view out over these seats up front. This is my eye line right now. I really can't see much of anything, so riding back here will be a little tough. And if the driver is driving like I'm about to, I don't know that this is the seat you would want to be in, because while they do have some bolstering, and these are definitely not the flattest back seats that we've ever seen. Looking at you, Alfa Romeo Stelvio, these definitely are not bolstered like those up front. That is enough time touring this one. Let's get to the driving and the 0 to 60 testing, which is probably why you clicked on this video in the first place. This portion of the video is sponsored by Lasfit all-weather liners. These liners fit so good because they are custom made for your vehicle, and you can see just how much of an improvement they are over our standard Corolla carpeted mats. One thing I really love about these Lasfit liners is just how well they fit. They are recessed so that you can spill a liquid in here and not worry about it actually seeping in to the carpet of your car. Lasfit makes a liner specifically tailored for your vehicle. You can learn more about Lasfit and their full selection of liners via the link down in the description below. You can use our coupon code, save you a little bit of dough in the process, and help our channel out while you shop. Huge thanks to Lasfit liners for their sponsorship of this video. All right, now that I have the cameras up and can talk with my hands more, I did want to show you what CarPlay looked like on this rather small screen here. You can make it even smaller by hitting that button right there, and then you get all your Toyota shortcuts, so you don't have to hit the Toyota button. But, I mean, it's CarPlay. It works well. You can readjust your apps. It's CarPlay. You know what to expect there. Okay, 6-speed manual transmission. These reviews always make me a bit nervous because thanks to our partners with RaceBox and their GPS 0 to 60 and lap timers, we can see just how good I am 0 to 60 testing a manually transmission equipped vehicle. It always makes me just a little bit nervous just because, well, it's a little bit more than point and shoot. It's a little bit of driver skill. Now, for this, you can see I'm in normal drive mode right now. I've got my round tack in front of me, but I'm going to go ahead and bump it up into sport. I am also going to go from normal drive mode to track drive mode, which sends 30% of the power to the front wheels and 70% to the back wheels. We don't want to be asking those front wheels to be doing too much for us. Gravel does 50-50 and normal does 60-40, so that gives you a little bit of the split if you didn't read it on screen earlier. Now we will come to a stop here on our straight stretch of road and see exactly what we can do. We have a 7,000 RPM red line, so let's see, maybe 4,500 thereabouts, and go. Oh no, terrible launch. But when we connect, my goodness, we can roll through those gears rather quickly. And yeah, 6.62 is very unimpressive. So let's go around, try that again. Okay, so something I noticed in track mode, when you turn off traction control, you get lots of orange lights in front of you. But most interestingly, right above where it says I'm in sport drive mode, it also says I'm in expert drive mode. So that's fun. Just getting in my head all that much more. Round 2, let's see what we can do here. 4,500. Ooh. There we go. That was much better launch. 1.89 to 30. Yeah, we're definitely cooking here. 5.7. So I can still clearly do better than that. But just showing you what an average driver can do in a GR Corolla without tons of practice. Again, in a manual transmission car, you have to know the RPM that it is best to rev it to before dumping the clutch. You've got to feather the clutch. You've got to do all that stuff. Whereas in an automatic with launch control, you just mash and drop the brake and off you go. A little more skill and work and driver input in a manual transmission, which is why I've had so much fun in this GR Corolla. If you have followed the channel for a little bit, you will know that we were just in the GR Supra. Like, literally, they picked up the Supra, left this. And I said that that Supra was a superhero of a vehicle, the most confidence-inspiring I have ever had in a sports car. And this is right on its tails. This is the only GR branded vehicle from Toyota that is actually made by Toyota. The GR86 is made in partnership with Subaru. The GR Supra is made in partnership with BMW. But this one is pure Toyota, and it is unlike those other two. While both of those are rear drive sports cars, this is an all-wheel drive hot hatch. And Yes, we have a manual transmission in this one. You can get a manual transmission in both of those as well. But there's just something about the whole hot hatch segment. I have said multiple times, I even told my wife Holly that I love this car more than I should. I am too old for this car. I am pushing 40. Hot hatch isn't really where I'm shopping anymore, but there's a lot of practicality to this hot hatch. Yes, it's all-wheel drive, so as it's been raining this week, I've got traction at all four wheels, and depending on how I turn the knobs down here, I get more or less traction in all the right places. But this has a back seat, a usable back seat, something that cannot be said of the GR86. And it's head chopping off rear seat and sloping rear window in that one. It just doesn't work. So the whole family can get in this. The whole family can get in this well. Even though Tucker could ride in the back of the GR86 quite well because that back seat is perfect for him, it's so much nicer giving him his own door. And then when we get in the vehicle, we have a lot of fun. There's just so much to like about this. This is almost as fun in traffic as it is here on some curvy East Texas back roads. In traffic, going through gears, I find myself rowing through the gears more often than I should because of the blow-off valve that you can hear underneath the hood. It's just so much fun. It just adds to the fun and character of this angry little chihuahua, as I called it. It's so eager to rev and pull and go that you find yourself weaving in and out of traffic. I find myself being kind of a jerk behind the wheel of this one as I get stuck in traffic because I can't stand to be stuck behind anyone going too slow. It just hurts to go slow in this car. It wants to go. It's like it's pulling at the chain, just begging to let me loose, let me go. And yes, it is absolutely fun to get to do that when the road opens up like this. And when you do, the suspension in this is completely different from that of a typical Corolla. The brakes, the wheels, the tires, everything is completely different about the driving characteristics of this versus your typical $20,000 Corolla. They basically took the Corolla shell and made it a lot of fun. They put in a new heart, they put in new legs, they gave it new shoes. Everything about this is unlike anything Corolla until you look around you here on the inside. It is a blast to drive, and it doesn't beat you up in the process. You can see I am going down this bumpy road just fine. Yes, it is firmer, that is for sure, but it doesn't destroy you in the process. Yeah, we're bouncing around a lot, but these are imperfect roads. Get this thing out on a racetrack, and I am sure you would have a ton of fun. We've gotten to put a few laps around Eagles Canyon Raceway in Decatur in one of these, but it has been far too long since we've actually gotten to test the limits of the GR Corolla. It's fun in a lot of different scenarios, this definitely being one of them. You can see out of it quite well too. The sight lines are fairly good, and yes, you can just throw it into corners. One thing I will note of this 6-speed manual is paired with this engine, it doesn't feel overmatched. Yes, we've got rev matching in this, but really there's hardly a time where I have stalled this. I've stalled it once, being a little too careful going up my steep driveway. And then I remind myself, yeah, we have a gravel mode. This is a rally racer. It's meant to take on harsh conditions. So now I go with a little more gusto up my driveway, and it's not a problem. But this transmission, this engine are really well matched for one another. And I found myself getting into a terrible habit back when I owned my 2012 Camaro SS, and it's 1/4 skip shift that is terrible, that I would typically start in second gear to avoid that 1/4 skip shift. And I find myself being able to do that here, even in this turbocharged 3-cylinder. So all you that will complain that, oh, it's small displacement, oh, this, that, and the other, it is still quite powerful. Here we are, second gear going around the corner, and it's got plenty of oomph. just to get us up and going. You can cut through and zip through traffic in practically any gear you are in here in this one. It is quite confident and quite capable in all situations. Now, as we are to the end of the twisty bit of the section, we are on newly laid, fresh, loose gravel here, but we'll give it another go at 0 to 60, see if I can't beat my 5.7, get it a little bit closer to the Toyota claim to 4.9 seconds. And yes, that is a full second slower than the GR Supra, but here we go. Let's rev it up to about 5,000. Oh my goodness, off we go. Yeah, that one's terrible. Lots of loss of traction on that loose gravel. 577, so not terrible by 0 to 60 standards, but definitely more involved 0 to 60 that time. More production and fanfare, but definitely showing that we do get traction at all four wheels. I'm going to have to find a slightly better surface to hone my 0 to 60 skills. So let's smash cut to that real quick. All right, here we are, straight stretch of road, going slightly uphill, but let's rev it up to about 5,000 and off we go. When it catches, my goodness, it revs quick, and 5.36, so definitely better there. Still improving my skills on accurately launching this thing. That is obviously the most difficult point. And then we do get yellow and red shift indicators here on the screen in front of me. This vehicle is an absolute blast to drive in all situations. Other things I want to note, the bolstering on the seats, very heavy but perfect in execution. It allows me to take corners and have a little bit more fun in this than I would in any other situation. The brakes on this, very good. Brakes on this stop you on a dime. Again, kind of send you into situations faster than you would with lesser brakes. And no, I'm not on a track, so I can't talk about brake fade or anything like that. Bumps and corners don't upset it. So I have a question for you. Would you pay $50,000 or thereabouts for a Corolla if it's only a Corolla really by name and body shape? The new heart in this, the new suspension, the manual transmission, all of it works well together to really give you a complete package and a stellar driver's vehicle. It is an absolute blast in any and all situations. I have had just as much fun with this in traffic as I'm having around these twisty back roads. Yes, you give up a little in daily comfort and livability with some added road noise in the GR version of the Corolla, but this thing is an absolute blast. It is a good package. Toyota has done an excellent job all on their own here in the GR Corolla, and it works quite well. I absolutely love my time in this one. It works well for me as a father of one. But if you want to know what it is like for us as an entire family, I won't be putting Holly behind the wheel, but the whole family will be piling in this one for a full family review. If you want to see that video, hit the subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified when future videos drop from us. Find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, in a 2025 GR Corolla Premium, until next time, gearheads, bye. This car is so much fun. Corollas shouldn't be this fun. Like, it's a Corolla. I do applaud Toyota. They have said that they no longer want to make pure appliances for transportation. They want their vehicles to be fun.